Welcome to Cine Pro, where we bring your favorite movies back to life with quick recaps, hidden details, and everything you missed. The film begins. We are shown the broadcast of TV static noise. At that moment, the scene moves to a mother who was playing a song from the radio in her car. Surprisingly, the woman left the car and her child without hesitation. She deliberately stopped her car in the middle of the railway and left her son to die. In the next scene, we are shown a girl, Carly, who is calling her boyfriend, Damon. Not long after, Carly's younger brother, Josh, comes into the room and makes fun of her. We will focus on the family of Carly and Josh, which consists of their father, Brent, and their mother, Kendall. The city they live in is a safe and comfortable city, where in every corner, parents always accompany their children. At Carly's house, her family always starts the morning with breakfast and gets together. They also have a maid, Sun Yi, and the maid's daughter, Lisa. While enjoying breakfast, Carly's mother and father watch a news broadcast about a car that had been hit by a train. Not bothered by the news, Carly instead asks for permission to bring her boyfriend home tonight. But her parents don't agree and say that her grandparents will also come tonight. On the other hand, Carly is also not given permission to date because she's still 17 years old. Then, she's driven by her mother to go to school. Along the way, all Carly does is just be busy with her cell phone and her mother is ignored. Her mother feels that Carly has never appreciated her presence and has always been ignoring her own mother. From here, we can see that Carly's relationship with her mother is not really good. Her mother also tells Carly that after this she will visit the hospital to accompany her mother's sister who is about to give birth. However, Carly does not care at all where her mother is going. Then, Josh, who is still not in school, spends every day at home. Because of his stubbornness, his own father's head was hit with a ball until it buzzed. Even so, his dad is patient and still willing to joke with Josh. After that, his father is ready to go to work as usual. The scene moves to the classroom and shows a girl, Riley. Riley is a bad girl, and she is Carly's classmate. The scene then goes back to Carly's house. In the house, there are only Josh, Sun Yi, and Sun Yi's child, Lisa. Josh, who is naughty, can only play planes while running around. When his toy plane crashes, Josh is immediately shocked when he looks into the kitchen. At the same time, Carly's mother is hanging out with Riley's mother. Riley's mother also says that Riley had told her about Carly, who secretly took Kendall's money without her permission. Hearing this, Kendall feels embarrassed, but she still defends Carly as her daughter. But Riley's mother keeps heating up Kendall to make her angry. While the two mothers continue to gossip, their daughters are studying together in the same class. The moment the teacher in their class is busy teaching them, suddenly the phone in the class rings. Then, one of the students in the class is called by his parents to get out of the classroom. Not long after, the phone rings again. From outside of the classroom, there are also many police cars heading to their school. From that call, one of the students is also told to leave the classroom. Not knowing what happened, the teacher doesn't know what's going on either. On the other hand, Damon, who is taking his exams on campus, also sees a lot of parents waiting at the door, even though the time for the exam is not over and there is still an hour left. Carly and Riley, who have finished class, see that all the students are busy leaving the class. They go home because all of them are called by their parents. Outside the school, there is a mother who climbs the fence and is arrested by the police. However, as it turns out, the entire school gate is crowded by a group of parents. At the same time, Damon, who has finished his exam, immediately collects the answer sheets and leaves the class. The parents who see Damon leave instead go straight into the class together. The situation at school is also getting out of control and very strange. Despite the fact that there was no earthquake or tsunami, all parents seem to be panicking, each calling their own children. In order not to be more chaotic, several police officers are guarding the school gate. Then there is one mother who calls her son. Innocently, the child instead runs to his mother and climbs over the fence. The teacher sees the boy running and immediately holds him back. Even the teacher and the police who are holding him cannot do much, because the boy wants to get out of the school gate instead. As a result, the boy is stabbed with a car key by his own mother. Things get even more chaotic when the parents manage to get into the school. Immediately, all the students run away, where they are being chased by their own parents. Some of the children who are chased are immediately killed in various ways. The police at the school are also trying their best to protect the children. Carly and Riley keep running, and luckily their parents didn't come to the school. Then, Damon, who had finished his exams, was on his way home. When he arrived, he immediately went inside and saw his father sitting on a chair. His house also looked messy, and Damon immediately started cleaning it. When he finished taking out the trash, he realized that his father was no longer on the couch. The TV program his father had been watching suddenly turned into static noise. From behind, his father suddenly slapped Damon for no reason. His father looked dazed, then immediately grabbed a glass bottle. The bottle his father took was also broken to make it sharper. Damon could only remain silent and confused, watching his father's behavior. Then Damon's father attacked his son, injuring his hand. Sensing something strange, Damon immediately tried to avoid his father. Damon's father, who was chasing him, instead fell, causing the shard to pierce his own neck. Damon, who wanted to help his father, was still resisted. On the other hand, Carly's mother, who had been hanging out with Riley's mother, was crying silently in the car. She remembered her daughter's behavior, who always made her look bad, even though she had defended her daughter, who was the subject of people's gossip. Not long after, Kendall got a call from her sister, who was about to give birth. Carly and Riley, who had left school, also planned to stay at Riley's house. Judging by her lifestyle, Riley is a girl who likes to use drugs. While waiting for Riley to take the narcotics, Carly watched TV to find out what was going on. The news on TV reported that this phenomenon was occurring in huge numbers, and the cause was still unknown. Meanwhile, Riley's mother was waiting in Riley's room with a photo of the two of them. Carly, who was downstairs, was confused as to why Riley had been in her room for so long. As she went upstairs, she saw that Riley had been killed by her own mother. Long story short, Carly's mother had arrived at the hospital. When she arrived, she was curious about what was being reported on TV. The latest news said that this phenomenon probably occurred because there was a group of people who deliberately created biological weapons or neurotoxins that could attack the impulses of the human brain. This neurotoxin would cause the instincts of parents who always protect, love, and care for their children to become the opposite. In other words, the neurotoxin could turn parents' natural instincts into hatred and a desire to kill their own children. Then, Carly's mother immediately accompanied her sister, who was about to give birth. Here you could really see a mother's struggle during childbirth. After a long struggle, finally a baby was born and immediately carried by the mother. But suddenly, the monitor screen in the room turned into static noise. The baby's mother, who had been happy before, suddenly became violent for no apparent reason. She deliberately hugged the baby tightly so that the baby couldn't breathe. Seeing this, Carly's mother immediately grabbed the baby from her sister. The doctors present also helped Kendall to retrieve the baby. However, the baby's mother took a box cutter and tried to stab the baby. In the end, Carly's mother was able to take the baby. But still, the baby's mother kept trying to kill her child. The scene returned to Carly, who, after seeing her friend dead, decided to run from Riley's house. From a distance, she saw a father who had just killed his son with a baseball bat. Carly was afraid to see the father, and fortunately, Damon suddenly appeared from behind. After that, Damon and Carly planned to save Josh, who was still at home. Then, the scene shifted to Carly's father, who was still at the office and looked very tired. He also got a call from his wife but ignored it. At that moment, the TV in the office turned into static noise, and then Carly's father immediately shouted. Carly's mother, who was still in the hospital, was confused as to why he didn't pick up the phone. Soon after, a nurse said that her sister had been sedated and couldn't behave violently anymore. The nurse asked that the baby be returned to the hospital. But Carly's mother kept refusing and wanted to keep the baby. But in the end, she gave the baby to the hospital. There were also parents who continuously stared at their babies because they wanted to kill their own child. At that time, Carly's mother immediately called Sun Yi, who was at home. She asked if everything was fine. Well, Sun Yi said that everything was fine. Carly's mother was worried that her husband would reach the house first. Therefore, she rushed home immediately. Damon and Carly, who were already in front of the house, only saw Sun Yi's parked car. When they entered, Sun Yi was seen busy mopping the kitchen floor. Sun Yi was confused as to why Carly came home so early during school hours. Then she also said she would prepare Carly some lunch. However, Carly didn't want to beat around the bush and immediately asked where Josh was. Hearing this, Sun Yi informed her that Josh was in his room. Immediately, Carly was shocked when she saw that the mop Sun Yi had squeezed out was covered in blood. Well, it was clear that Sun Yi had killed her own child, Lisa, in this kitchen. Carly, who was afraid of Sun Yi, immediately ran out of the house. At that moment, Carly immediately went upstairs to meet her younger brother, Josh. Josh said that he hid after he saw Lisa killed by Sun Yi. Without further ado, Carly asked her little brother to leave the house together before their mother and father came home. Damon, who was downstairs, was surprised by the arrival of Carly's father, who saw him in the house. Carly's father was outraged, and his screams were heard upstairs. When Carly's father and Damon were having an argument, Josh innocently showed himself in front of his father. His father immediately chased them both and was immediately stopped by Damon. Then, Damon was hit by Carly's father right away. Right now, all Carly and Josh could do was run from their father's chase. Fortunately, their father slipped because of a toy car and then bounced into the kitchen. Carly and Josh, without hesitation, immediately hid in the basement and locked the door. Carly's mother, who had arrived at the house, saw her husband lying down, and she immediately woke up her husband who had fainted. From here, Carly's mother's behavior was different and looked like a dazed person. The two parents eventually worked together to kill their children. Her mother tried to persuade Carly and Josh, who were in the basement, to come out. At a moment like this, Carly apologized to her mother for stealing her mother's money. Her mother said it was okay and she just wanted the two of them out of the room. However, Carly didn't want to, and she told her mother to get out of the house. Hearing that, their father became enraged and used harsh words on them. Then, Carly's mother immediately took the drill and knife. The door was so strong that the drill her mother took didn't even work. Her father also intended to take the gun that he kept under the bed, but apparently, the gun was gone. At that moment, there was a scream from Carly's mother. It turned out that the father's gun had been secretly taken by Josh. Carly's mother's arm was also injured from being hit by a shot through the door. Her father was confused as to why Josh had the gun. After thinking about it, it turned out that the pin code of the suitcase was Josh's birthday. While the wound on her mother's arm was being treated, Carly and Josh could only wait in the basement. Their parents had a new and more effective plan. They tried to make it hard for the two children to breathe by channeling gas into the basement. While his mother was pulling the gas hose, there was a nasty smell coming from the trash can. After a closer look, it turned out that the things inside the trash can were Lisa's rotting body. Innocently, she put the hose into the basement air vent. After that, Carly's father turned the gas faucet on. Every hole in the door was also blocked by his own mother. Carly, who was inside, was confused about what her parents were really planning. Carly, who was curious, reached out and felt the hole in the door. Her mother saw Carly's finger and immediately stabbed the hole with a knife. Her parents just waited at the door to hear their children's screams. They essentially wanted their two children to die slowly. Time after time, they waited until nightfall. And Josh, who couldn't stand the gas, immediately looked breathless and had a pale face. Likewise with Carly, whose face began to turn pale and it was difficult to breathe. Then Carly found a vent that they could use to escape from the room. Before escaping, she made a trap with the matches she found in the room. Carly's purpose in making the trap was so that when her parents opened the door, the match would immediately strike and explode since there was gas in the room. When they were done, they immediately ran into the vent and coughed as loudly as they could. Hearing the coughing sound, their father was ready to enter the room and their mother immediately grabbed a hammer and knife. Carly and Josh were already above the ceiling at that moment. When the doorknob, which had been broken, opened, Carly's father immediately opened the door and the match trap was struck. Immediately, a burst of fire shot out of the basement and hit Carly's father. Then the mother woke up from unconsciousness and immediately looked for her two children. Carly, who had just come down from the ceiling, made a sound so her mother could hear it. From downstairs, her mother walked over and saw Carly in the attic. At that moment, her mother immediately chased Carly like a criminal in the house. Carly could only lock herself in her own room. However, her mother managed to get inside and Carly immediately bit the wound on her mother's arm. Suddenly, Damon had also woken up and tried to help Carly. From fight to fight, Carly's mother was finally locked up in the wardrobe. Not long after that, her mother became silent and did not fight anymore. Carly and Damon also thought that her mother was out of breath and just gave up. But apparently, Carly's mother appeared with a broken coat hanger. The soul of a psychopath that came out of nowhere even appeared because of this phenomenon. Unfortunately, Damon's cheek was pierced by the hanger until it penetrated. Carly and Josh, who ran, instead met their father who had regained consciousness. They were chased by their parents until they were cornered. Luckily, the doorbell rang at that moment. Carly's mother also just realized that tonight, Carly's grandparents would come to their house. When the father opened the door, his mother sprayed his face with pepper spray. Then Carly's grandfather directly stabbed the father with a knife right then and there. However, Carly's father instead kept chasing Josh. Here, they ended up chasing each other. Then the panicked Josh got into his father's favorite car and hid in it. Meanwhile, his grandfather kept on targeting his own son. On the other hand, Carly's mother tried to stop her in-laws from killing her husband. Carly was chased by her own mother to the outside of the house. When she wanted to kill her, her grandmother tried to protect her from behind. At that time, Carly's father, who had started the car engine, directly hit his own mother. After that, Carly's grandfather was thrown out of the car and died on the spot. Carly, who woke up, was about to be beaten again by her mother. But luckily, Damon came and immediately hit Carly's mother with a hoe until she fainted. Then, their parents were tied up by their own children in the basement. They begged to be released, but Carly still wouldn't, because she knew their father and mother didn't look like their parents anymore. Suddenly, their parents erupted in rage like truly sadistic people. Carly and Josh could only cry when they saw the behavior of their parents. They regretted why they didn't respect their parents at all in the past. The mother said that she loved her two children more than anything in the world. Then, their father said that sometimes they thought about killing their children, but in reality, there was no way they wanted to do it. That's all the recap of this movie. Thanks for watching.